planted across Lagos, but beyond the photographs and ceremonial planting, an important question, remains: are we truly building a greener Lagos, or simply observing another annual tradition? Today we'll look at why trees matter, what they mean for our health, our communities, and our future, and how every resident can play their own part. So joining me this morning, Honorable Suliat Oguns. She's a member of the Lagos Youth Parliament, Executive Director of Next Generation Sustainable Initiative. And of course, we have Nurudeen Olayinka Agbaje, is a media aide to the President of the Environmental Health Officers Association of Nigeria, Lagos chapter. You're both welcome. Okay, I asked a question earlier. This particular exercise has been running for almost 2 decades. According to history, the tree planting exercise started in 2008, almost said 2018, 2008. But yet many Lagos residents still do not connect, with this tree planting. It is seen as an official thing for Lagos state officials. Why is this so?
Hi, good morning, everyone. In 2008, Governor Babatunde Fashola started commemoration of tree planting, and they gave it a 10 years. That's a Vision 2020, that by 2020, Lagos would have planted 10 million trees. But when we look out there, do we actually have 10 million trees in Lagos State? And the major essence of planting trees to try and balance the effect of climate change. However, it's become more of, shall I say, for the aesthetic and not the sustainability part of it. Okay. The theme for this year is planting trees, your responsibility, our responsibility. But those are the grassroots, the market women, the kids in school. Did they actually see it as our general responsibility?
Some of the elites, do they key into it?
So I think what we need to now sell out more is we are not just planting trees because of the pictures, but we all need to send out the message that this is our future for the coming generation, for us to be able to balance Mother Earth, because we have no other home apart from this earth. Then when everyone understands that tree planting is not just the duty of Governor Sanwo-Olu or the Ministry of Environment or your local government chairman alone, and for even the local government chairmen that tend to plant trees, how well do we get to follow up and nurture those trees? The trees we planted last year, can we actually say, okay, 1 year after, we are proud to say I planted this tree and it has grown? We're able to follow up on it, or we just want to keep planting every year without having a database on, okay, from last year, in the past 2 years, in my local government, I planted 20 last year, and I can actually say 15 survived, and we paid attention to it. So this year, we are adding 10 more to it. We know that we are growing in tree planting, or we are just putting seeds into the floor and taking pictures. So I think we need to now sell a better narrative of every citizen and resident needs to understand that we are not just planting trees for the pictures. We are planting it to balance Mother Earth.
Okay, picking it up from where she stopped now, it's beyond just putting seedlings in the ground and say, oh, we are commemorating Tree Planting Day. And so how important is it to care for these seedlings? What are the things that must be done to ensure that these seedlings survive?
Thank you very much.
Is it for her or for Is it for you?
For him.
Okay.
So, like she rightly said, we shouldn't be planting just to take pictures. First of all, we should start to see the trees as being part of the environment. Most people see them as being inanimate, not useful, not having anything to do with our existence. But if we sit down and look at it, even most elites do not seem to look at it from this perception that a single tree within an environment gives us, it beautifies, first of all. It breaks wind. It holds the soil in situation where we have erosion or strong flooding. When we plant them around our houses, it stabilizes the building. It gives us free oxygen. Free oxygen. So if we look at all this and so many other things, it's also support biodiversity.
Okay.
For example, There's a common saying that if you want to hear the song of a bird, you plant a tree. Don't buy a cage. So if every one of us could have a tree around us, nurture it, water it, protect it, make sure that it grows from nursery up to the adulthood in such a way that it shields us from excessive heat, it cools the temperature, it reduces the greenhouse gases. Because we shouldn't forget the fact that one of the main reasons we are planting trees is actually to key into the climate action, which is the Sustainable Development Goal 13 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So if every one of us is looking at it from this angle, most especially going by the theme for this year, that trees for Lagos, our city, our responsibility, it doesn't just stop at government, the state or the local government planting into the soil. We should see trees also as infrastructures. The way government builds roads, builds schools, and they hand it over to the community. People should also adopt trees, nurture them, make sure that they survive.
So you are saying nurture them, make sure that that's English for somebody who doesn't understand that grammar now. So across the 57 local council areas in Lagos, trees were planted. And then residents were charged to take ownership. And as you're saying now, people should nurture them. So how do we nurture these trees?
Thank you very much. First of all, how do we nurture? If a transformer is being installed in a community, every one of us will watch over it so that thieves doesn't steal or carry the cable.
Take ownership.
So when a tree is being planted, first of all, we should take ownership. That's one. Number two is, after the rainy season, we should endeavor to water them. Thirdly, for those people having stray animals, goats, dogs, ants, and all sorts of, they should keep their animal within their premises in such a way that these goats would not eat up the plants.
I'm glad that you mentioned after the rainy season that you should water it. I'm taking this to Suliat now. Suliat, we know that we've had, heavy downpour lately, and we're planting trees. How do we avoid this heavy downpour not washing away this new seedlings that we're putting in the ground?
I think we should consider some type of soil when we want to plant. I wouldn't want to mention, but I saw a particular picture where someone claims to plant a tree in a sandy soil. Did you actually prepare the soil, or you just want to take pictures for the aesthetics that, I also dropped a seed into the soil. So I think in considering the topography and geography of the soil, we could be able to determine, all right, let's say for those that live close to, I'm trying to find an example, maybe close to the riverine areas, there are certain soil levels that you can consider that I know if I plant here, for every little rainfall or flow of drainage, my seedlings are not safe. And some people could actually consider building a nursery, starting from a sack. Then by the time you nurture those trees to a particular level where you know it can survive, you now transplant them into the soil. So you are kind of, you have this mindset that it is surviving already, not like you're just throwing the seedlings away.
Okay, as young people, and I have this question for either of you, anybody can answer it. When you speak to your generation about tree planting, what is usually the response you get from it? Because this generation seems to be the ones that know everything. When you speak to them about tree planting, climate change, what is usually the response you get from them? Anybody can answer it.
Okay. The current generation also needs to be properly educated and enlightened in such a way that they see the good intention behind why trees must be planted and nurtured. Because apart from the fact that some of us are in the sector, or for some consigned citizens like the NGO and others, most people have a carefree attitude. They do not see the connection.
For lack of awareness, or they just don't care?
they don't just care. They don't care.
Okay.
Maybe due to lack of awareness, or perhaps, and like a program like this is also meant to also intensify, educate people on this. So I would believe it's, like you said, lack of awareness, and seeing the link between having trees around and healthy living, cleaner environment, absorbing pollutants, breaking winds, making sure the soil is strong, resilient, resilient enough to fight the dangers of climate change as it's being currently experienced all over the world.
So you smiled when or you laughed, or you chuckled when I asked that question.
Right, for me, I wouldn't say lack of awareness. Maybe I would just say it's not on the top scale of preference of the Gen Z. Because almost every day we hear about climate change. Many people know, but should I say we have this attitude of the government just has to be the one to give us everything. That's why I said it's not our scale of preference. We have some youths out there that are taking actions, and we have the largest demography. So I think we just need to work more on, should I say, education, and we having this mindset that we are part of the solution, and without us, whatever government does without us might not be sustainable. So using our numbers, we need to believe in, okay, whatever the government is bringing, how do the government want to sell it to us and make us buy into it? We have the Ministry of Youth. Whatever policies are being created, how well do we carry them along? Let's make sure that we are part of this decision making. You don't just bring solutions that look like abstract to us. Let's be the one on those tables, so that we can actually create a chain of environmental conscious people, because we have the numbers. If every youth is kind of environmental conscious, then I am already envisioning a state where things would go well, and we all would take responsibility for our actions, and we don't have to wait for the governor or the commissioner to call us out.
Speaking about creating a chain for environmentally conscious people, now let's talk about the role of schools. Because again, the next generation are in schools. They are the children we have today. And so, do you think when you look at the curriculum, when it has to do with teaching about taking care of the environment and all, do you think it's doing enough?
Well, I don't think the curriculum has enough scope to actually capture enough environmental education for the younger generation, because if it does, I think it's a way of catching them young, you understand, from that tender age, to know about various things about the environment, the sustainable development goals, their roles to the environment, what they can do if someone is actually polluting the environment, how they can contribute, the significance of every initiative government bring on board, just like the tree planting exercise we are discussing. So I think the scope of the syllabus or the curriculum on environmental education need to be properly scaled up. So I don't think
as a
enough
child,
is
I
being done.
remember us planting. They tell us to bring seeds to the school, or sometimes provided, and we plant and we nurture. I wonder where those trees are today. Anyway, let's talk about flooding, which is a major issue around the world, but also Lagos is involved. As it affects thousands of Lagos residents, flooding is, I don't know what else to say without putting myself into trouble. Can planting of trees really make a difference with flooding?
Yes, it can.
How?
Yeah, he actually mentioned something about, in the case of erosion and flooding, trees have the ability to absorb water from the soil.
We've been planting trees since 2008.
Yeah, that's why we said we've been planting, but we have evidence of those trees we planted. We had a vision 2020 that from 2008 to 2020, Lagos would have planted 10 million trees. But can we actually count 10 million trees in Lagos? We've been planting. We know we've been planting. That was as at 2020, 10 million trees. And we're in 2026 now. 6 years later, we learned that we planted about 15,000 plus trees just a few days ago. How well are we going to be able to say by next year those 15,000 trees can be accounted for.
So what needs to be done, really? Because it's no longer about just planting trees and then going, you know, how do we now make people accountable now, especially those people that are planting the trees? We know it's beyond our powers, but what else can be done to ensure that these trees are, you know, adequately nurtured and they serve its purpose?
To start with, I would like to begin from where she stopped. Trees actually play significant role in managing excess stormwater, which we call flood.
Okay, flood. Okay.
As a matter of fact, there is a process known as evapotranspiration, in which trees stores water, and over time, they release the water into the atmosphere through evaporation, and it's stored into the atmosphere, and it comes back to us as rain. So that's why I say trees actually plays a significant role. So we need to plant more of those trees. Now, going forward, how do we justify the importance of trees in flooding is? She said initially that there are no accurate statistics, so we need to begin to work on our statistics. And of the plants we planted, of the trees we planted this year, 15,000.
15,000.
Going forward, by this is July, by December, we should be able to have the statistics. Okay, how many survived?
You know, how
many survived?
Yeah, okay.
By January to June next year also, we should be able to account also how many survived before July, where we get to the planting season again, because it's a natural annual ritual which we do every July 14 of every year. So I think when we have statistics, statistics actually guide us, tell us, are we going forward or we are some step backward?
Okay, still on nurturing these trees planted, I know that, I read that the governor also told the council chairman across the 57 LCDs to be custodians of these trees planted. And so again, Lagos is divided into local government and local council development areas. So let's talk about the role, or how important is it for the council chairman to actually champion this, and so the trees that have been planted, what do you expect of them to do, or how do they work with residents to ensure that these trees are nurtured and it's not just about commemorating the day and just taking pictures?
But I would want to cite an example. In April, when the state brought back the monthly sanitation, and I guess around a few months later, there was a particular day the governor made a verdict that Lagos is dirty, and he was calling out agencies to make sure. I don't know, within that particular week, there were some sporadic actions, agencies. So now that the governor himself had called out council chairman, I think it's now left for them to make sure that it's not just a ceremonial event. If possible, we have tree officers or tree champions across all the local governments, and it shouldn't just end there. A very, very strong believer of collaboration and grassroots. We have CDAs across all the local governments. When the Commissioner for Environment mentioned that they will be awarding the most effective
the cleanest local
governments for sanitation, everyone wanted to do better. Everyone wanted to be recognized. Agege was recognized as one of the local governments that has been planting trees by the commissioner last week. So I think maybe when we had a little bit of incentive reward or something that would cheer them up, the chairman would not see it as just something they have to do and feel relaxed. They will see it like something they have a report to be presented on, and they don't have a choice but to make sure that they keep tab of it as part of their, shall I say, administration success.
Lagos is fast becoming, or it has become a mega city. Almost everywhere has been turned to concrete. So some people will come out to say, oh, I don't have where to plant. Is that an excuse?
Yeah, thank you. That is not an excuse, because for every portion of land we have, we should be able to earmark a particular portion for
a green space.
For the green space. When I was coming in, I was actually looking in your premises. I saw green belts. I saw a lot of places that you landscape with greens, trees here and there. So also it should be like that in every premises. In my whole little compound, I left some space for trees.
Okay.
So if every home decide that I won't concrete or use interlocking.
Well, that's if you are the one that built the house.
No,
What
the,
if the landlord has put concrete everywhere?
it has to start from the landlord, from the property owner.
Okay.
If we can enact laws that every property owner should have at least 2 or more trees planted within their property.
What about those who have and are cutting it off? They said, oh, the branches are falling on breaking windscreens of people's cars and all of that.
That's part of the nurturing we talk about. There is an agency in Lagos State known as LASPARK.
LASPARK, yeah.
They actually go around to monitor this because as we are clamoring for more trees should not be falling indiscriminately.
So it's an offense.
So it's an offense
in Lagos to fall trees
without having a proper permission from the relevant agency, which is LASPARK. Do you understand? So LASPARK help in trimming or in situation where it is necessary, and I'm sure it is the last thing they would want to do, to uproot some trees if they are actually constituting danger to members of the public. But except that, trees are things we shouldn't tamper with. Rather, we should make them grow.
So what you're saying is that, if I see a tree, or if a tree is causing a nuisance in my compound, in my area, I have to inform LASPARK first. I can't just take it off myself.
No, you can't do it. You have to inform LASPARK or inform your nearest environmental health office. Each local government has a LASPARK officer. You understand, that will advise you on the necessary steps you have to take in managing the situation. So it is not a thing you can do on your own. It's an offense in Lagos State and it is known to law.
So you are an environmental health officer now and taking it from, it's starting from the landlords. Because there are some compounds you go to, there's no even parking space. Talk less of say you want plant tree. And so again, what are you doing to engage residents? Because again, most of the CDA members are landlords and landladies in their area, and so building construction is constantly going on in Lagos State. People are building houses. So are you engaging residents to also educate them on the importance of keeping green space in their compounds?
Of course we do. One of the basic duty of an environmental health officer is house-to-house inspection, and during this service we talked about a lot of things, including planting of trees, you understand. And an average Lagosian would want to overbuild his premises for profit's sake. But at the end of the day, you and I know that health is wealth. There is no amount of property we can amass, amass that would equate having sound health, having a serene environment, flowers here and there, giving you free oxygen. You and I know what it costs people to get oxygen when they get to the hospital. But if we can have the benefit of having more trees around us, that would give us free oxygen. I think it is something we need to embrace and do, and also pass on to generations to come.
Okay, so yeah, beyond this platform, I know many youths are not on this platform watching LTV. What role should social media now play in promoting environmental responsibility? Because I know that is what you do. You are an environmental advocate. You speak for the environment.
So, with respect to using social media as youths, like I said, we should sell more of narrative of being part of the solution than the problem. And like the team said, our responsibility, the Gen Zs, we are more of the social media type. So how well do we want to bring these discussions in our circle? I want to give you an example of a particular school that is currently being rebuilt around the Korodu Itowolo community. It started from some set of youths that just passed there, and they saw the school was flooded, it had deaths, and they came up, a few set of guys, they posted on social media. If you stay around there, you're interested, join us this Saturday. We want to make sure that we clear the deaths around the school. Waste around a public school. And beautifully, we had different NGOs that came together, different youths. And after the clearing, we now got to, okay, we've cleared it for the kids, but we understand that whenever there is raining, this place is always flooded. What else can we do for these kids? They took it up around last year. I think it's a year after. We wrote letters to the local government, to SUBEB. These are youths. We pushed. For those we didn't get response, for places that we met challenges, we were sent back that, oh, the school is fine, you guys don't. We had videos, we had and beautifully, fortunately, about last month, the chairman himself said he has decided that that was going to be his legacy project. And currently, the students have been moved out from that school. And before the end of the, let me say by next year, Itowolo would have like a beautiful face. That is the action of what youths, what social media and what our numbers can actually do. Now, it's not just going to be like we are ending it here. We implore the government, we implore the ministries to work hand in hand. Find the Ministry of LASPARK is under environment. Try and work with the Ministry of Youth. Let the Gen Zs be the voice, even if it's for them to just come up with quotes. Let's do an hashtag, a challenge that, okay, as much as you can do it. I think UNICEF did something like that with the Yoma challenge. Plant a tree, snap yourself, and win a phone or something. That was like last year. If the government could continue with such initiatives and let them know that, okay, it's not just about you planting. We want you to plant, nurture, and tell us your story in maybe 6 months.
So for this July 14 annual exercise, is it that, no youths were carried along?
I wouldn't say youths were not carried along, but maybe some set of people didn't see it, like I said, as a scale of preference, because they have this mindset that, I don't want to say our government, that many people are doing it for the pictures, not for the sustainable impact. So they just feel like, after planting, what's next? Why should we stress ourselves? But if we have like a timeline of plants, nurture, do this, follow up, do your hashtags, snap your pictures, make it fun for them, then maybe.
I know Gen Zs like to have fun with everything,
Now it has been established through our conversation that planting of trees is beyond what government can do, and so individuals are meant to plant trees. And so again, I'd just like you to share briefly before we wrap up. What are the common mistakes that should be avoided when you plant a new seedling?
Okay, so when you plant new seedlings, first of all, you should make sure that you have a protective, guide around them. You understand? Most especially when they're in this seedling, in their nursery state. You understand? So make sure you remove as much as stray animals that come to stop its growth. And also, we should provide enough water. Do you understand? We can water them by ourselves.
When is best to water, morning or evening?
It is best in the morning.
Is it every day?
Yeah, it's mostly, at least if you can do
daily.
that if you can do that daily. Or if not daily, you can do it like 3 times in a week.
3 times a week,
Is there anything like overwatching?
Yes, there are some species that would not, that can die due to overwatering if they are not well solidified.
Like the case of heavy downpour?
In the case of heavy downpour, the LASPARK officer goes around to monitor those seedlings till we get out of the rainy season.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, interesting conversation we've had talking about tree planting exercise in Lagos, and it has been established by this conversation that it goes beyond just taking photos. It goes beyond the government. It is our responsibility as individuals and as Lagos residents to plant a tree. Thank you so much, Bashorun, Nurudeen Olayinka and Suliyat Oguns for sharing insights on the conversation today. The program continues shortly. Stay with us.